What's going on, everybody? Aaron here with Tier 1 Academy, and today I got an interesting video that I want to break down that I think we can learn a lot from. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so quite a bit to talk about, quite a bit to break down, a couple mistakes made. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, the first thing that you notice that happened is she didn't take the shot. So, even though she had a clear line of sight on the lady, she had the right to take the shot, she didn't. And what happened here was what I like to call the ocean moment, which is we in this field of law enforcement, security, future recovery, executive protection, etc., etc., we know what we're signing ourselves up for. We know we're signing up to possibly get shot at. We know we're signing up to possibly have to shoot someone. We know we're signing up to possibly have to fight. We know we're signing up to possibly get punched in the face, etc., etc. However, there's just some things when it comes to this field that you really don't know what you do until you're in that situation, no matter how much you think about it. So she's probably shot at paper targets countless times. She can take the shot. But when it came to that new mental barrier, which in this case it wasn't a paper target, it was a whole other human being, let alone one pointing a firearm back at her, she ultimately could not cross that mental barrier, and the situation got really real and reality sunk in, and she just froze up. So it happens. It's happened to me myself in doing security and future recovery. It was only one time for both where I found myself in a situation where stuff got really real and I froze up. So it's because reality sinks in, and you don't really know what you do in that situation until you're in that situation or you've already been in that situation before. So that's what happened to this officer, unfortunately. So she couldn't take the shot. She retreats to cover as she should, because if you're not going to take out the threat, at least find some cover away from the threat to keep yourself safe. Now, here is another fatal mistake, which is one of the first things I got taught in future recovery was comms, comms, comms. Answer the radio, have your radio, make sure radio works, make sure you do a radio check before we leave out and go into the streets. This is something you should also be doing if you're in this field. So, for some reason her comms wasn't working. That's something that should have been figured out before she even left to go out into the streets. Huge mistake, especially when you're out there in the streets, especially the streets of Chicago, which is where this happened. You want to have your radio so that we can call for backup. But I guess at least she did something rather than nothing, which was she called for backup via her cellular device. But even then, you really don't. You want to use your radio, not a cellular device. But I guess something's better than nothing. So here is probably the biggest mistake of all, which is her firearm malfunctioned and she did not know how to fix it. So from what I'm seeing, I can one of two things that happened. It was either a failure to feed or it was a double feed. And regardless of how it happened, the way to fix them was very similar actually. You just lock the slide to the rear, release the magazine, send the slide forward, rack it a couple times to clear any obstructions or anything that may be in there that's causing that malfunction. Put the magazine back in, slide the rack, get one into the chamber, get back in the fight. But because she's in a high stress situation and the fog of war kicked in, which is where she's not really thinking clearly, all she is just doing, she's not really thinking, She's not really falling back on her training because she probably never really practiced for this that much. I'm pretty sure in the police academy they made her do the drill 1 or 2 times how to clear this malfunction. She did it 1 or 2 times. They gave her a pass, and then she put it in the back of her mind because she didn't think she would be in a situation. But because she didn't drill it, because she didn't practice it, because she didn't think she would be in a situation, she now found herself in that situation, and this is why she's playing with the firearm. Can't get the thing to work because she didn't have that training to fall back on. This is why it's important that we know how to clear these malfunctions. That's why we teach them in our wear and carry classes. But as you can see, she's playing with the firearm. She's not keeping it pointed in a safe direction. Look, there's cars coming by. She just had the firearm pointed in the direction of an innocent bystander. No, whenever you're clearing your malfunction or your firearm, it should be pointed at the ground. Okay, especially if you're in a situation like this. Now, if you're at a shooting range, downrange is okay because that's a safe direction. But when you're out in the streets or you're in a crowded area, down at the ground while you clear that malfunction. Okay? However, another mistake, which is her firearm still malfunctioned, still jammed, and she left from behind her cover and they just got shot at. Not something I would recommend. Stay behind cover until you fix the firearm. However, she gets working and a micro mistake, which is why are you worried about that cartridge? Unless you're really pressed for ammunition, you should be worrying about that cartridge. You should be worried about fixing that malfunction and getting back in the fight because you just got shot at. You don't know where the threat is. You don't know if she's still around. You know she ran if she ran around that corner, but you don't know where she is now. So you need to be ready. You shouldn't be worrying about a cartridge on the ground when you have more cartridge, you have more ammunition. Get back in the fight. That's not your priority. You shouldn't be worried about that. But I guess she, again, high stress situation, fog of war. She wasn't thinking clearly. But this is just something that we can learn from, so that way we don't make the same mistakes. So, and right about here is where everything is said and done. So, what we can take away from this, especially CCW holders, is the importance of knowing how to clear a malfunction. Okay? If you're not sure what the malfunctions are, we at Tier 1 Academy, we teach the malfunctions. We come to our renewal class, we come to the B-Day on our wear and carry class. We talk about malfunctions and how to clear them. Alright? That is so important, especially when you're out there, because you get into this type of situation and your firearm malfunctions and you're in a situation where you do have to use your firearm, you want to be able to quickly clear that malfunction and get right back into the fight. But however, this is just something we can learn from. All people make mistakes. But however, especially if you're going to be a CCW holder, you can't make these mistakes because it may cost you your life. Okay? Alright, thanks for watching. Follow us using links below. Comment, rate, subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching. This is Aaron, Tier 1 Academy. Take care now.